Okay, so here's a bit of a bonus video. I'm going to show you a comparison between what is really the quintessential Valkyrie accessory, which is the GBP-1S armored set, on both the old toy and the new toy. Now I would like to show you the differences between like the regular fast packs create a Super Valkyrie, but this toy was not designed to have super parts attached to it, or at least whatever method they had originally envisioned did not come to pass, because on the later releases of this toy they actually put in, I'm not sure if you can see on video, but there are actually little divots here for holes. On the later ones they do have bigger holes drilled into it, and also there's a cutout here in the upper part of the elbow guard. There's a little slot in there for the armor, and there's also additional slots in the backpack for the main boosters. However, this is still compatible with the standalone full armor GBP-1S set. Now to prep this figure, you do have to unlock the chest plate, pull out the canopy cover, and put in this new one, which has a slot in it. And what that slot is for is because there's actually a peg here that when you put on the chest plate, it sticks right into that little slot. And I guess I'm going to start going, I guess I'll start with the legs, besides the chest plate of course, and work my way up. I would recommend taking the legs off to do this, because it's just easier. Now Josh B actually did review this figure, this whole set, a while ago, and the common complaint that he'd said was this crotch piece, because not only is it kind of misshapen just due to the proportions of the base toy, this whole thing does not really stay locked together very well. It's just a bunch of pegs holding it together. When you do bring the wings back down, it does help keep it in place a little bit, but it's very easy to pull this whole thing apart. So we're going to keep that there, and we're just going to grab one leg and put on the armor for the upper thigh. This actually does stay together a little bit better because it has this whole rack of grenades there to keep it in place. And I'm going to grab one of the leg pieces, and what you do for this is you pull off the kneecap, and you just pull this apart, and for whatever reason the back plate, or the little back missile launchers, are a separate piece. I don't know why, honestly, because, you know, you're just going to put them back on anyway. So it's very simple. You just put these in, and then hope you get everything aligned, because otherwise you're going to look really stupid on video. There we go. Yeah, and keeping this thing in place is also really annoying. Wow, this is Murphy's Law here, because this thing, there it is. Okay. Okay, there we go, and then you can just kind of put the kneecap back on, and which will lock everything in place for one of the legs. Now, a bit of a problem just with the way this breaks down is that there's a big nasty seam right through this little, I mean not just through the whole leg armor itself, but particularly this little silver part. I mean, that just doesn't look very good. Okay, so we'd have one leg, and I'm just going to try to quickly do the same thing on the other leg. Okay, that one went on much easier than the first one. Okay, so we've got the legs, and here's one of the problems, is that because of the thickness of the hip armor right here, and the thickness of this crotch plate, it actually forces the pegs that hold the hips, or the pegs that go into the hips, it kind of forces them apart a little bit so they don't snap in quite so securely. And it's very, very common that if you were to pick this thing up that the legs would actually fall off. Okay, so another thing that they had to do was to kind of keep the proportions consistent, although I would say the proportions on this thing are really kind of terrible. They gave you these big old centered shoulder pads that you slip over the regular shoulders, and then you put on the missile launchers themselves. I have no real idea why these parts are actually, why this whole shoulder pad is separate from the launcher, because it could have just been one part. But yeah, I don't really know what they were doing. So then you just open up the armor. It just comes apart. Simple two-piece design. Fits over. And there you go. And for the last piece, you do have the boosters on the back. They don't have any kind of tabs to lock in to the backpack, which is why this thing is still compatible with the first run of these Valkyries. So what you do is you just take off one booster and then slide this whole thing up. And then pop another booster on, and it's just kind of loosely attached to the back there. And let's see if I can spin this thing around without it either collapsing or something falling off. So yeah, this is the classic, well now classic, VF-1 Valkyrie with the GBP-1S armored set. Now, it really wasn't that impressive at the time. Nobody was really blown away by it. The one thing it did do that no other armored set had done before is that it did have all of the opening missile hatches. You know, it had the two shoulder launchers, it had, of course, the chest launcher, and it had the ones that hadn't been done before were really the leg launchers. And watch out for these little clusters in the legs because they like to fall off. They're not really glued in very well. And of course, it did have the little missiles on the back of the legs, which, you know, have to fire and then snake around to hit something in front of the robot. Well, whatever. So this was okay. It really wasn't great. It was kind of chintzy, a little poorly designed, especially with this crotch area. You couldn't really do much as far as posing it was concerned because, well, all this stuff is going to bump into itself, and just the fact that now the connection between the hips and the nose cone is a lot more tenuous means that you're just going to have this guy stand straight up and down. So, okay, we're going to put this guy off to the side, and I'm literally surrounded by Valkyrie parts right now. And we're going to do the new guy. Now, our gracious editor-in-chief, Adam, reviewed this armored set, and he did a very good job, and he convinced me that I needed to also buy this set. Now you can see for the prepper, all we do is we fold these fins that are on the legs against the base of the shins. This was revolutionary because nobody realized before that you did have to make these fins fold down in order to allow the leg armor to go around them. Now, one nice thing about the leg armor on this is, well, first off, I'll just show you real quick. The seams, as you can see, are right along where there are seams in the design, so that it doesn't look very off, and you do have this nice little light detail there. Okay, armoring the new VF-1 Valkyrie with the GBP-1S armored set. Part of a bonus video, yada yada. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, we're going to do the front armor. Or we'll do the back armor, I don't really care. And use this to hold these parts together. Okay, that went on fine, so I don't see what the problem with the other side was. There, see? Pops in really nice, not going anywhere. Okay, other side. Piece of shit toy. Okay. Alright. Maybe this didn't really have to break down into so many pieces. But I guess that's part of the anime accuracy thing. Okay, there we go. So that went on nice and tight, and now the Valkyrie has a nice pair of pantaloons. Okay, so shoulder parts. These are very simple. You can see the extra new shoulder piece is actually just a part of the shoulder launcher. And all it does is it slots over and in to the existing shoulder. Okay, so let's do the armored diaper. This thing actually breaks down a lot more. So what you can do is just fold the wings out, bring this thing up. Okay, put the back part on, stick on the little covers for the intake, and then you will lock the whole thing together with these side panels. And now why is this giving me problems? Oh, I know what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, it does need to be kind of put all the way together. I swear that this is actually really easy if you're not trying to do it on camera. Okay, that's fine now. Okay, stick in again the top intake cover. And lock it all together with the grenade rack on the sides. And bring the wings back down. So here we go, some fully armored pantaloons. This is similar to the last one. Actually, it does have little slots here for the gun pod holding indent that you use, and also it holds on the regular super packs, and those lock in very nicely. Oh, I'm skipping the fill-in part for the insides and the extra bigger looking feet parts, and there's also a fill-in part for the back of the neck, because I never use them personally. I feel like this is a bit more pure and true to the design to not use those parts, and to not use the optional hands either, because I think the regular hands look fine with the armored set. And just for the last couple of things, there's no real anything else that you need to make this fit on. You just pop it on there and it stays on. And one last thing, of course, the back boosters, which have the same kind of connector as the regular super part boosters. So what you can do is you can just push these things up and inwards, and then attach the little tabs into the slots on the backpack, and yeah, that is the whole package. This is the modern VF-1 Valkyrie GBP-1S set. Oh, and I didn't put this on right. There it goes. Okay, so this is the modern GBP-1S set. And I have to say, this looks so much nicer than, well, let's bring him in here. So much nicer than this guy. This just looks awkward. One of the big problems you can see right away is if we look at their feet. Because of that fin and how it's exposed on this one, the whole leg armor has to be built around that fin to contain it, instead of having it, fold down on this one. And because of that, it just sort of forces all the proportions of every piece to be just a little more bloated and bigger, so that it just looks a lot less like it belongs on this toy. And especially, this is really true of the 1/48 scale armor, which I've heard is really great. I never got a chance to buy it, and every time I went to go buy it, it was too expensive, even when it was on sale. But I think that the new 160 is really hit it out of the park as far as making a true definitive armored set, and I'm going to show you it does have, of course, all of the opening missile hatches. And on this toy, the hatches don't feel like they're going to fall off at all, which is great, and the missiles are nice and securely attached, so they're not going to fall off either. But yeah, so it's this is the real evolution of modern Valkyries and their accessories. Yeah, we've come a long way in 10 years. I guess this was released more in, like, what, 2007 or something like that. But it's really amazing that this came from the same company, because there is, again, very little of this toy in this new one. So they really just started from scratch when they made the 1/48 scale and used that to make the new 1/60 scale Valkyries. But, you know, overall, it's still kind of cool, and if really, in the end, if robot toys are just dolls for boys, it's still fun to play dress up, whether it's on the new toy or the old toy. I did not decide to show off the really comically basketball-sized fists that they give you with the old set, because they look terrible. But yeah, so this is old, this is new, and this has been a review for CollectionDX, my little bonus video of armored parts through the years, or at least armored parts on two Valkyries of the same scale. So yeah, this has been the end of the review, and it's a lot of stuff to watch, but I'm sure people are going to check it out anyway.